Hey guys, welcome back to the JPM Performance Channel. You guessed it, it is once again time for a shop tour, and you can see I'm wearing one of the JPM hats. We still have a few of these to sell. Kind of getting this out here in the next few weeks because I'm going to bring them all to the Runoffs. If you're going to be at the Runoffs and you want a hat, I'm going to have them with me. They're 40 bucks a piece, and they're beautiful. You can see the logo is embroidered. These are those flex fit hats. I got them in two sizes. They're comfortable, they look good, and they're worth at least half a second a lap. Do the math. All right, here we are, August 15th, dead center in the middle of August. And we are rolling through, getting ready for the Runoffs, of course, and it has been strangely cool. Weather report for the week. Strangely cool. We've had rain. It's been like in the 70s and 80s. Really strange for August, but take it as it comes, because as we get to the end of August, 1st of September, next thing you know, you start looking at the extended forecast and fall's going to be here before we know it. Summer's going like that. So, okay, let's get into the shop tour. So this is a differential. This is a Ford 8.8. You can see how much larger this pinion is than, you know, your typical Miata. This is actually going into an RX-8. So you've seen this before if you guys have been paying attention to shop tours. V8 Roadsters makes this really nice rear cover that bolts onto a Ford 8.8 differential, and it goes into your RX-8. So the big conversion are these, and you guys saw one of these cars probably last year at this point. One of those six-cylinder GM engines that they put into the RX-8. It's pretty cool. But I think I might call this my last one. Let me tell you why. These things are hard to work on, man. I'm over here on the press, and I'm trying to get this pinion gear out. So I've got Croyle sitting in here. I tried to press it. It went about a quarter inch before it stopped. Odds are the pinion is frozen in the outer bearing. So I put a bunch of Croyle up top. I've been letting it sit. And then, when that doesn't work, we're going to come right over here to the sparkle wrench. If she doesn't want to behave, got to give it a smackdown sometimes. So that's kind of what I'm going to be working on as soon as we're done with this. So I'm going to take my time today. Engine going out. Joe Baruch, F Production Miata. He is a new customer of mine. I have done a couple things for him over the past, just bits and pieces, but he finally decided to pull the trigger and do a complete engine. Got the motor done, looking good. Should see FedEx Freight here in the next few hours. Get this picked up, headed to Connecticut. So yes, I build engines for people all over the country, coast to coast. We just ship them in and out. It's no big deal. Finished up Jake Anton's transmission. Had to replace almost everything on this bad boy, but she had a bunch of years on her, and all freshened up for the Runoffs. Jake's also going to the Runoffs. Expect to see him in the next week to pick it up. He just lives up in Nebraska, so he likes to drive down, either drop the car off, or in this case, he pulled the tranny himself and is going to put it back in himself. Cool. All right, lots of good updates on Ken Kennard's car this week. You'll have to come really close to see the windshield. Now I'm leaving the windshield dirty because you're not supposed to clean these things on the inside anyway, but you can see the grid. So the defroster is in, and two shout outs to Mike Taylor. Mike Taylor turned me on to this thing. So this is that frost fighter that I showed you guys, and he said, you really are going to hate life if you attempt to install this in the car. He said, pull the windshield out. So much easier to do out on the bench. I didn't do that. I did it in the car. And yes, it was not a lot of fun. Climbing inside of this car to get all the way over to the sides. You can see we have wires. You have a wire coming off that grid, and then it goes back and forth all the way up to this wire over on this side of the grid. And then we've got our nice little button right here. So one thing I didn't do, Mike, is you suggested that I don't use their kit. So I've got their little button right here, right? So that comes on, and that lasts for 10 minutes, and then the light will go off. So they want you to keep, use their relay system. I think that Mike is not using the relay system, and I think I'm going to do it like this while I've got a chance, to give it a chance. You know what? If the light goes off and your window starts to fog up, press the button again, and you'll be fine, right? So the other thing I started working on is the nose. So as you can see, the nose is completely unwrapped, which is not a great fun project, but it is what it is. Got some fiberglass work to do. You can really get a good look at some of the damage that happened. So this is broken here, where this Zeus fastener was. A little bit of damage here, but while it's stripped out, I'm going to fix some of the little stuff. We've got a break down here in the spoiler, which will get fixed. We'll fix around the headlights a little bit, make it really look good. So looking forward to that. And we just happened to have, and I don't know if he wants to be on video or not, but he just happened to wander in. So you guys get to see this car every single week, but you never get to see the owner, Steve Wiles. Good to see you today.
Hey, Jesse.
He is here to pick up his awesome Camaro, and every week we talk about what I've done to your car.
Fixing something that I broke.
Fixing something that he broke. A couple weeks ago we talked about the dog rings that you destroyed.
Yeah.
Things like that. So
It's always something.
Yep, so we're just doing our shop tour. He is here to pick the car up. Everything is ready to go, 100%. Just installed a new V-Box system. You can see the blue box here under the windshield with both GPS antennas. Why are there two GPS antennas? One is for the V-Box and the other one is for the brand new Flagtronics, which we just installed as well, which is sitting right here on top of the dash and will be very easy for him to see. So we've got the car sitting up on the roller skates here. He's gonna hook up. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna give him his keys to his trailer so he can go get it. It's around back and we'll finish the shop tour.
All right, sounds good.
And you can back it into position. Thanks. So we're looking good on that. He is heading off to High Plains. Not this weekend, but next weekend. I think they call it probably the last chance race out at High Plains in Colorado. We're still working on the car, trying to make it better and better and better. We've got this new V-Box system in. And kind of interestingly, and we talked about it, and I've moved the camera twice because he couldn't make up his mind. One camera facing forwards, and then I put one camera right here facing him. Because I want to see what he's doing on the shifting, downshifting, upshifting, driving. I think it'll give us a little more information than just looking out the back. So that's what we're doing there. Mazda 2. All right, it's been a couple weeks, right? Now, I hope you guys got the opportunity last week. We didn't have a shop tour, but we did post the video from Elkhart Lake where I drove the MGA. And so there's a whole bunch of video of not only in the paddock, on the grid, the drive into town with all the race cars coming to town, and then a little bit of in-car video from the MGA at the end. If you missed that, go back and check it out. Came out last week. So I've had 2 weeks. You guys haven't seen, we haven't seen Mazda 2 stuff in 2 weeks. And what did I tell you 2 weeks ago? We're basically going to be done. So you can see the engine is basically completely together. I've got, obviously I'm going to put the intake manifold once it's in the car, but I've got a side cover. Going to get it off, get the flywheel on and clutch. Give you an idea of how tight everything is on these clutches. In the bell housing, it's so tight that you can't use regular bolts. I have to countersink the pressure plate and use these because the transmission is right here and it wouldn't clear a bolt head. Front wheel drive problems, right? So the bench is almost cleared out. The engine is basically done. You can see, and I'm really digging this color. For those of you guys that already have this in your car, good for you, because that means you've already gotten a new JPM engine in your car. But this is that Volk wheel gray that I love. Man, this is so pretty. I'm doing all the valve covers this way. But yep, motor came together really well. Lots of good upgrades. Runoffs are coming. We're getting close. So what's next? I've got a little bit of rear suspension stuff I'm working on. I need to get to this bodywork, but I kind of figured I could do the bodywork almost last minute. I'm going to do a little front flare thing to straighten out what I've got there. But the main thing that I want to get done is basically right here. So here's that second ring and pinion that I want to get into this transmission. So what I'm really working on is having two identical transmissions, two identical engines. Now, this engine over here is going to be a spare, and it's basically at the end of its usable life, right? So it's starting to burn oil. It's still making good power, but it's really starting to consume a lot of oil. So that engine over the winter will get rebuilt, but we will take it to the Runoffs as a spare. But I do not want to take this transmission as it sits to the Runoffs as a spare. So I need to pull it apart, inspect it. We're going to get that ring and pinion into it. So that'll be the next thing that we see up on the bench here. And I think we'll be looking really good. So yeah, so that's kind of where we're at. Did get another batch of differentials, of course, that are always coming and going on the pallet over here. Yeah, Runoffs prep. So I've got, and I'm doing, let's see, what did I say about Runoffs engines, right? Have to have them in July. Making an exception this year for Mr. Bednar's. I expect to see his engine today. Fortunately, things have gone really well this summer as far as time frame, being organized, getting things done properly. So I've got Ken's spare, I've got Mark Weber's engine, and I've got David Bednar's engine still coming in. Those are the last Runoffs engines, and so we've got 6 weeks, right? So 6 weeks is not a lot of good time, but we're looking pretty good. Feeling good, feeling confident about it. I think this isn't going to be as big of a push as it was before the June sprint, so that's a good thing. Anyway, I appreciate you guys watching. I know it's been a couple weeks since we've had a shop tour. Yeah, everything's cool. Everything's looking good. Happy with how things are progressing. Hopefully Steve has a good weekend next weekend. And then we can get that car prepped for the Runoffs as well. So, yeah, looking forward to the Runoffs. I saw they had the big H Production Invitational last weekend. So from a distance, super impressed with Matt Braden and Braden Connolly in their X19s. Almost the class of the field the whole weekend. Chuck Mathis got up front on Sunday. But, man, the X19s were like putting a beat down on the field early on, and they did a 1-2 on Saturday and finished second and third on Sunday, and Chuck won the race on Sunday, but it was pretty close. So I'm impressed, guys. Can't wait to see you guys at the Runoffs. Good job. Looked like everybody had a great weekend at Mid-Ohio for the H Production Invitational. Just a little shout out to the organizers. Since this is my own personal channel, I can say whatever I want. If you guys move it to earlier in the season, I think you'll get more guys, and I think you'll even get me. So think about it. Appreciate you guys watching. Have a good rest of your week. Take care.